Hi, Will. Welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your October 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who like, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, the Celtic Cross spread as always. And also pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card for you guys. We're actually going to start the reading off by rolling over the astrology dice we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as that goes. So we'll start with that. Okay. We have 7. So your 7th house is the house of partnerships, relationships, contracts. And we have Jupiter in there and Saturn in your 7th house. And they're actually going to both go direct around the middle of the month. I think Jupiter might be first and then Saturn. Or maybe I have that backwards. But yeah, they're definitely both going to go direct in October. So it makes sense that would be an area of focus. We also have Sagittarius, so that's actually your 5th house, romance, creativity, children. And we're going to have Venus move in there right around the 2nd week of October. And we have the South Node there as well. And speaking of Venus, we have Venus as well. So like I said, it's going to be moving into Sagittarius pretty early on in October. Naturally, before that, it's going to be in Scorpio. So moving from your 4th house to your 5th house. All right, so we'll keep that in mind as we go through the spread. In the main situation position, we have the Emperor, which is the major arcana card for Aries. The Empress, usually I view this as Taurus energy, but could also point to Libra since they're also ruled by Venus. And the Knight of Pentacles, court card for Virgo. All right, so there's a couple different ways I could see this playing out. For some of you, this might be a situation where you might have felt like you found your other half, and because of that, you wanted to make an offer to them to make something, let's just say a formal commitment between the two of you, right? For others of you, this could actually be you figuring out how to best integrate the masculine and feminine parts of yourselves into a more, tangible, constructive, productive format. So that could be what's going on there too. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with this. And, I do have to say, even if you did find your other half, or if you feel like you did, I should say, with that Knight of Pentacles, I feel like this is saying that there's been a lot of hesitation on your part to come forward to make something formal with them. All right. And in the challenger obstacle position, we have the Tower. So, again, I can see this playing with either of those scenarios that we mentioned there, but let's just say, like I was saying, maybe this is a way where you're figuring out how to balance the masculine and feminine side of yourselves, right? That could be what the Tower is pointing to there, the masculine and the feminine, shattering the visions that you used to have of what those energies meant, how they should be manifested, when they should be used, how they should be used, right? Could be one of those situations. For some of you, this could point to, if this is around you realizing you found your other half, for some of you might have hit as a sudden realization, right? Where maybe you're just casually with this person, and then one day it just seemed to click for you, like, oh wow, yeah, this is totally my person, right? And I do have to say, for a small percentage of you, what this could be pointing to, it could just be saying if you drag your feet for too long, since we did see that Knight of Pentacles energy, it could just be saying that there might be an opportunity that you would miss out on in that regard. So we'll see which of those things it could be as we go on, but that's what I was picking up on energetically there, those 3 scenarios. In the foundation position, we have the 10 of Wands. So here we see the Sagittarius energy that also came up in your dice, and 5th house energy. So for some of you, it could just be saying, all right, I can see this playing out a few different ways. Maybe it's saying that you've just been dating a lot of people, let's say, right? So maybe that's just what it's been. You've just had so many people where you might have lost sight of even what being in a relationship would be like, right? You just had so many things up in the air at once that you're like, okay, you might have even lost track of who was who, something along those lines, right? But you're just so into the casual dating thing. And it might have even started to overwhelm you too, right? Like, okay, this is getting to be too much, right? Dating multiple people it might have started to get to the point where it started to drain you too. So that might have been where you're like, okay, this isn't necessarily working. And then maybe you start to look at those options and realize maybe one of them was above the rest, and that could have been what led you there. For others of you, like I was saying, with that imbalance of masculine and feminine, if this is within yourselves, right? Maybe you've been realizing you've been taking on too much when it comes to romance, or perhaps letting someone else do too much of the work, right? So there's going to be a reevaluation of the balance there. Let's see if anything else comes to mind with this. And this could just be saying that you've really been working toward this, right? Getting that integration between the masculine and the feminine. So, a few different ways I could see that playing out too. All right. In the past position, we have the Five of Cups, Scorpio energy, and the Four of Wands, Aries energy. So, going back to the scenario for those of you where maybe you were dating multiple people, I feel like there might have been, for a while, it might have really suited you. You might have enjoyed it for a while. And when you came to that realization that, wow, okay, I think this might be the person that I want to be with, right? Or maybe one of them actually made the move toward you to ask you to be in a more formal connection. There almost might have been a bit of a mourning process, right? Around, because if we think of the Three of Cups representing that celebratory party type atmosphere, right? A lot of times with friends, seeing these three cups knocked down, and then the two cups representing a more formal type of relationship dynamic still standing, I feel like you might have even mourned the thought of, oh, I'm going to have to give up my party lifestyle, right? But then there actually was that potential for happiness. So, I feel like you might have gotten out of that. For others of you, it could actually play out another way, which is to say you might have passed on the opportunity for this because you were so wrapped up in the party lifestyle, and there might be regret around that, realizing that you missed out on that opportunity for this type of dynamic. So that's what I see there. All right. In the present position, we have the Six of Wands in reverse. So this is actually Leo energy here, represents the middle 10 degrees. So if you guys have a placement between 10 and 20 degrees, this might resonate with you a bit more. But seeing this in reverse, I feel like it's saying that you don't feel like you achieved victory in the situation, right? You might feel like you have lost out, which that Five of Cups energy definitely points to as well. So I feel like this is one of those things where maybe you've come to that realization recently. And again, like I said, maybe that's why the Tower is in the challenge position, that, okay, maybe amongst these people that I might have been seeing, right, there was someone who actually was my person, but maybe I took too long to come toward them, right? It could just be as simple as that. So now you're feeling a little bit defeated, and part of this could just be due to the fact that we have the Mercury retrograde we'll be dealing with for most of October in your third house communication. So it could just have you reevaluating situations, especially since it is in Libra, which is a natural house of relationships. So it could just have you revisiting that and thinking back, like, oh man, I feel like you might feel like there's not an opportunity to fix the connection for the time being, but that's what I'm seeing there. All right, in the near future position, we have the Seven of Swords. So this is actually Aquarius energy here. And I do have to say, I feel like this will be more of a warning, especially given that he's running right toward the Tower card and not even paying attention to it. So what I would say there is, if you're in that in-between time, right, where, like I said, maybe you've come to that realization, whether you're the Emperor, and you're like, oh, this other person's my Empress, or you're the Empress, and oh, that person's my Emperor. Seeing these two swords in the ground makes me think of the relationship, right? So, oh, this is you and the other person. But then we see those five swords. So I feel like this is saying, if you came to the realization on the one hand that, yeah, this is totally my person, but you're not ready to give up the casual dating at the same time, I feel like this is saying, just be cautious around giving them the impression that they're in a committed relationship with you while you're still out doing your casual thing, because I feel like karmically that might backfire with the Tower, and that could be what that's pointing to, which is to say, if you do try to do something like that, it could definitely backfire and just ruin the connection altogether. Let me see what else comes to mind with this. And for others of you, it could just even be as simple as you possibly just running from commitment, right? That could be what it's pointing to as well. And it could be even to your detriment, because if we think about it, the way he's running with those five swords doesn't look very comfortable, right? If he comes to realize it, it's like, yeah, that's probably not the way I should have been grabbing those swords and running with them. So it could just be saying that it's one of those things where it could be a self-sabotage dynamic too. And especially even the fact that, like we said, we're going to have Jupiter and Saturn in your opposite sign. going direct in October. So karmically, that could definitely be a bad idea. So if you're just in between, on the one hand, oh, this is totally my person, but you're not ready to give up the casual dating, I would say don't promise something that you can't deliver at this time, because that just might not go over too well. All right, in the position of your influence in the situation, we have the Eight of Wands. So, looks like you're taking a lot of action this month, again with the fifth house energy. And like we said, we did see Sagittarius pop up with your dice too. Venus will be there, so that is a good time for romance in that regard, energetically speaking. So, on the one hand, this looks like an improvement from the Ten of Wands, obviously, right? So, it could just be saying that you have more focused intent now, and you're more focused in your direction that you're taking, because we see all the wands moving in the same direction here. Unlike with the Ten of Wands, where this person's just caring so much, you probably can't even see where he's going at that point, right? So, might have lost direction. So, here I feel like you're getting more focused on what you want, and actually you're willing to take action on it. See what else comes to mind with this, and could just represent a lot of communication going on for you guys too, because like I said, that Mercury retrograde will be in your third house communication, so there could just be a lot of communication back and forth with multiple people. But yeah, that's what I see there. All right, in the environment position, we have the Three of Wands. So this is actually Aries energy here, middle 10 degrees of Aries, and this is usually a pretty receptive energy. So for example, this energy would align more with the Empress as opposed to the Emperor energy. So this could just be saying the person in your environment might be in a more receptive mode. And also keep in mind too, this also gives me the vibe of someone who's not going to just run off with another connection tomorrow. So like I said, if you are really there to where you're like, okay, I think this is my person, but at the same time you're not fully ready to cut off the casual dating at this time, feel like the worst thing you could do is promise this person otherwise, and then they find out that that wasn't the case, and then it would just blow the whole thing up. Whereas if you keep them in the fold, but not necessarily promise anything that you can't deliver at this time, that might be the better way to go between those two options. But yeah. And this looks like a person who feels like they've put in work towards something as well, and they're waiting for those rewards to come in. So whether this is you or the other person, it feels like that's the energy that this card's representing here. All right. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Eight of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Two of Cups. So, well, again, I feel like there's a bit of a split here too, because I could see this as saying there's a fear of moving toward commitment, right? You could see that in the cards, the fear of moving, because here obviously the Knight of Swords would represent that movement, and they would be moving right toward that commitment. So it could just be saying that for some of you, you're still fearful of that for whatever reason. For others of you, this could just be saying that you're hoping to actually come out of this state of confusion, right? Move toward a committed relationship. And I do have to say, another way I could see it playing out for some of you, given all of these cards and what we already looked at in the spread, the way it could be playing out for this is probably going to be for a much smaller percentage of you, but I do feel like it's at least possible. What it could be pointing to is some of you just have more of a realization that you're ready for a relationship. And it's not so much that one particular person standing out head and shoulders above the rest. It's just more that you all of a sudden have the desire to be committed, and you have so many options to choose from, and you might have a fear of making the wrong choice, right? And if that's the case, I feel like probably none of them would be the ideal candidate for a relationship anyway, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm seeing there. And in the outcome position, we have the Ace of Cups. So again, looks like there's definitely an opportunity there for love. Whether you take action or not on that is going to be up to you, obviously. Like I always say with the aces, that hand coming out of the cloud represents an idea, an opportunity, but there still needs to be action taken toward that opportunity. So could go either way. Some of you might decide to actually do it. Others of you might decide, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, but that's what I see there. And bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Cups. So this is a court card for Cancer, and this is the only cup in the cup suit that's completely closed off too. So 12th house energy for you guys, and the closed off cup could just be saying that for whatever reason you might have a really hard time opening up around emotions, which normally isn't Leo's vibe. You guys are usually pretty good at being expressive, but yeah, maybe you guys just have gone through situations in your past. So let's look at this a different way, right? That Five of Cups with the Four of Wands, that could be maybe a past situation you guys were in that you thought for sure was the real deal, and it might have led to disappointment, and now you've just been reluctant to trust from there, right? So that's a way it could be playing out for some of you. But just wanted to mention that. All right, moving on to your Oracle card, we have Time for Nap. There's the artwork, and the number is 24. So yeah, before we even read what it says in the book for that, that gives me the vibe of what I was talking about before, where like if you're just not quite sure if you're ready to give up casual dating, but if you're torn, like, oh, I think this is my person, but at the same time, I'm not ready to give up casual dating, right? So I feel like it's saying, all right, maybe just take a breather. Don't do anything just yet, right? That could end up screwing up the connection altogether. Think it through and just see if naturally your mind will change one way or the other. But we'll see what it says in the book. All right, it says rest, rejuvenation, and renewal, temporary non-action, allowing dreams to arise. The Oracle's message: this is a time to step away and rest. Let the cares of your world go. Go into a state of non-action and allow yourself to be free of the shackles of your goals, your list, your desires. Nothing is as important as rest, detachment, and neutrality. The overly busy mind can block you from inner wisdom if you don't step back, take a seat, and rest. Be willing to let dreams surface and ideas flow through you, absent any force or conscious direction, as you observe without engagement now. So yeah, if nothing else, like I said, having Mercury retrograde in your third house communication, it might just really be a good time to not jump into anything too quickly one way or the other. So if you're feeling a little bit split with two different directions you could be going in, could just be saying to just try to, you know, take a bit of a rest, take a breather, and see if that clears up the situation for you with a little bit of time away from it. All right, the relationship message says when it comes to matters of the heart, don't make any plans right now. If you're not partnered, it's good to take this time out to get to know yourself. If you're involved with someone, relax and just be with your partner. This is going to be an uneventful moment in time. Don't force anything now. Allow things to flow naturally, and a beautiful renewal will take place all by itself. Patience is the key to your heart's desire right now. Withdraw from action in your relationship and give it a rest so that your love and connection can become rejuvenated. So, pretty positive message there, and hopefully that resonated with you. And the prosperity message says this is a great time to make a break from your busy schedule and allow yourself the opportunity to step back. Your plans are meant to be put on ice. Your goals can wait. Dream, imagine, and let go of attachments and let go of attachments to any outcome now. Meditate and take a holiday if you can. Things will speed up soon enough. After a break, you may want to make some changes. Epiphanies have an amazing way of arising when you take your focus off your to-do list and allow yourself to rest. So, pretty positive message there too. And like I said, for a lot of you, this was really coming across as more of a relationship reading, but I do have to say with the 10 of Wands in the foundation, the 6 of Wands in the reverse, that could be another way it's playing out too, where you guys might just be running the risk of burnout, right? Trying to do too much, and that could lead to burnout in that regard. So if that's the case, if you feel like you're moving in that direction, hopefully that message resonated with you. All right, and lastly, we have a Mudra for you guys. This is the Mudra you guys got this month. It's the Kangula Mudra. The keyword for it is potential. All right, and okay, there we go. So not everything's going to fit in the frame yet. So what you do is if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say here, you can. And then I'll move it up so we can get the rest in the frame. All right, but under benefits, it says improves digestion and assimilation, activates hidden talents and gifts, awakens somatic intuition, which is your gut feeling, harmonizes human biorhythms with the rhythms and cycles of the natural world. So if that sounds like something that you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name of the Mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you guys next month. All right, bye.